Hello Secret Keepers, this is Bella of SSOT. Today we are going to be doing a little chat with me. I was able to go to the Stray Kids Dominate New York Day 1 and Day 2 concerts, and instead of doing a vlog, since I do use a avatar for my content creator self, I thought I would set up my information this way. So I am not new to concerts, festivals, outings of all of the natures in my big ass age of 40. I've been going to things like 104 Fest and Ozfest and Metallica concerts, and I went to Bon Jovi once, and I got to see The Who, and I've done all sorts of shows, big to little, small, and different. But this was my very first K-pop concert, so I ended up going 2 days. Day 1 I went by myself. Drove in. I'm a couple hours outside of New York by car, and then the second day I went back again, but I brought my 2 crotch goblins, my little kids, because they are also stays. They are definitely baby stay. They're 7 and 10, and they were dying to go. But the first night I went and got a much closer seat. The second night when I took the kids, because they are so young and it was their very first concert ever and I didn't know how they would handle it, we sat up in the nosebleeds. So let's take a look at what I was able to see. Now, based off of my camera, this is where I was sitting. I was on 120 somethings towards the middle of my section. The sections were huge, and my camera definitely does not do it justice for how close I felt, because definitely looking through the viewfinder of it's actually my phone I was recording on, I felt a lot closer than the images here were portraying, but I was able to get good shots. I was able to see things. I keep jump scaring myself with this image because I wanted to take a bunch of selfies, and I got pictures of the kids, obviously, but due to just not wanting my face out there or my family, we've all been VTuberfied. But in this version, she looks like she has the biggest eye bags under the planet, but it's just my glasses because I tried something a little different. Don't judge me. Anyway, so the nets were up in New York for both nights, and my seat did not say it was an obstructed view, and I knew the nets would be there. It's a baseball stadium. With Citi Field, I wasn't too surprised. But unfortunately, I was kind of in an area where they all overlapped. You can see in the middle that kind of spider webbing. Top half of the screens I could see clearly. Bottom half did get more kind of a pixelated effect because of the netting, and the dead center of the stage, where they hung out most of the time, to be fair, was really bad. So my footage isn't great. That's why you're not going to be seeing any videos, because as you can see, if your poor Hunjini here on one side looks halfway decent, on the other side it looks like I smudged him over with the eraser. Now, driving up to Citi Field is a pretty easy drive for me. I've done the drives in and out of the city many times throughout my life. But Citi Field is relatively close to the highway, which meant that when you got to the exit, you could actually see it off to the side of the road. However, it's New York, and there's traffic no matter what you do. And in order to kind of keep people safe coming and going, they had a lot of cops out, they had a lot of traffic, they had cones everywhere redirecting people. On, I think, Day 1, there was also an event happening not that far away, so there were 2 events unloading people off the same exit. It was a nightmare. I sat in traffic and weaved at Citi Field for a while, which was but whatever, I got there. I showed up really close to when it was supposed to start. I had intended to get there an hour earlier. I mentioned those little crotch goblins, had to find childcare, had to run around, had to do all of these things. So by the time I pulled up to the front of the venue, the concert was starting in 20 minutes. Now, would I recommend this to anyone? No. Did it work out in my favor? Hell yes. So I pulled up 20 minutes before it started, and from there they had just opened up a new lot, which was actually the lot closest to the door, so it was probably closed off because people were waiting in line there. I parked my car, got to my entrance almost immediately. There was no line at all outside. I walked right in. I had my stuff all ready to go, so they didn't have to do a big bag search. Got my ticket scanned. Thankfully, it worked with no issues. Got in the door, went straight to the merch table, which was right in front of me because I didn't want to do the lines with the kiddos a second time. Was able to get 2 shirts. One was the Scary Wolf-chan, or Evil Wolf-chan t-shirt, and the other was just a New York Dominate shirt. I will say I am definitely a plus-size girly. When I'm buying clothing in just traditional States styles. If I'm getting something that's going to fit well, I'm definitely getting a 3X. If I'm getting something I want overfitting, I'm getting a 4X. They only went up to 2X at the stand, but as soon as the woman held it up, I could tell easily that wasn't going to be a problem. So I was able to comfortably get that. I also purchased a keychain, which I have to mail to Bex, which theoretically will be in the mail before I post this, but let's just be real, it's not. One day I'm going to give it to her. And then was able to get to my seat really quickly. It was a very convenient seat. I felt comfortable moving around. The seats had a lot of room. And then the show started like 2 minutes later. And it was amazing. It was gorgeous. The guys were just beautiful. I was not a fan of the new red outfits, mainly because I was jealous because I went through the picture really fast. Bang Chan was wearing like a suit jacket and a white t-shirt and a tie, and he was just so covered. I was like, it's not fair. But they all looked wonderful and they looked like they were having a great time. During all the duets, I did try to zoom in on the pictures. Don't judge me, man. We'll blame the net for everything. That's what we'll do. But you know, who's that? I don't know. There's just some random people on stage and they're setting off red smoke. You can't tell anything from these pictures. I was really proud of these in the venue. But to be fair, it was actually a lot easier to see them from where I was sitting, just looking with my eyes than trying to zoom in, which was nice. The skit that they did for Burning Tires was absolutely hysterical. The guys sounded amazing. The sound quality for me both nights was really good. And I think that had to do with where I was seated, because there was speakers unintentionally but conveniently right above my head on both nights. And I do wear a hearing aid, a bone anchored hearing aid on one side, and then my other side is my fully functioning ear, so I wasn't sure if I should bring ear protection, should not, I don't know. But then this man would come up on the screen and there was a, I'm sure, lovely stay somewhere nearby in my section who would go absolutely bananas and screech to such a level that I did want to turn around and beat her with my light stick. I didn't, because we don't do those things. We're grown adults and we know better. We don't touch other people, but I wanted to. They also had this weird effect over all of the videos used during Escape, which might have been there the whole time and I just didn't notice in the other concerts, that made picture quality look worse. For every song, it was amazing. Getting to see the giant get inflated in person was so cool. I think it's massive. They were having a good time. They were laughing. They were joking. They were being goofy. They were lying. Those two. Yes, it's a song about being friends. Sure. Whatever you say. Nutty. I don't have a picture in this one from when they did Escape, but I will say that listening to Escape and seeing the names go up on the screen and listening to Soman and Lino singing their ever-loving hearts out definitely brought tears to my eyes both times that I heard it. And when it was New York's time to sing along, I had thoughts. I didn't say my thoughts. I sang along as best I could. I don't know if my entire section was just completely feral and forgot how singing works, but yeah, we did not pull that one off at all. I'm pretty sure that face on Lino is after they asked us to sing along and we failed miserably. I didn't keep my camera up for most of the show. Quite frankly, I just vibed out. I was dancing in my seat with the people around me. I was staying quiet. I was kind of just, it was my first time at a K-pop concert. It was my first time seeing these guys who I've been in love with now for so long in person. So I just kind of was shell-shocked. When they did the carts, it was hysterical because I thought the carts were going to come a lot closer. They didn't. I don't know what I thought was going to happen. I don't know why I thought they were going to come behind the hundreds. I'm apparently just extra delusional. But they were having a good time, and I would go back and forth between looking on the camera to really get a feel, a sight, to do the thingy things, to know what was happening around me. So that day I then drove home. Everything was fine. I mean, other than it took me like 4 hours to drive home. By the time I got home, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then my sister had my kids, and I was supposed to pick my kids up, and they had just fallen asleep. So I drove back to my house, and I crashed. The next day, we enter the Project Goblins, who were very, very excited to go. I had made them their own versions of merch, meaning I took shirts that I had once upon a time decided I should order in a size from Korea significantly too small for me, and just cut the shit out of them. And then we decked ourselves out with fake tattoos, and we hit the road, and we were able to leave a lot earlier this time. I had wanted plenty of the time for the kids specifically to get in, go to the bathrooms, get settled. We had snacks, we had drinks, we had everything. We also had bad weather. So day 2 of New York was the day of all of the rain, just all the rain, all the thunder, all the lightning, not a fun time. Oh, look, I'm wearing the Evil SKZ shirt. That makes me feel better. So got the kids packed up early, drove up, again, sat in traffic, had the kids waving at Citi Field from the car till we got in there. It took me about 4 times to find the parking lot because this time I was too early and it was not as smooth sailing, but we still made it in. We got our seats. We got to where we had to wait in line. And this time what we did was we handed out freebies. So I brought freebies for the first night. I had made little packets of random Momo photo cards that I could trade with or just hand out. And they were all hidden, so you didn't know who you're getting, so I didn't have to worry about bias lines or anything like that. But because I had showed up so close to the start of the concert, wasn't able to do that the first night. So the second night, the kiddos got to do it, and boy, did they have a blast handing out freebies and making friends. My little one with the fox knee over her face was waving like she was walking in a parade down the whole line. Once we found the line we had to get in, I kind of stayed in line and told them how many people away they could go, and they were trading, and they had the most fun I've ever seen them have. So these are the freebies. It was my Dominate New York t-shirt that I got for myself. I didn't even bother trying to get them shirts because I wasn't even trying to figure it out. But some of the freebies, including that keychain that I gotta ship off. I really have to do that at some point. But my light stick, and then for the kiddos, as much as I adore those little goblins, I am not spending $70, $80 each on a light stick that they will probably hit each other in the head with and destroy. So I got the little keychain versions, which for them and the size of them was perfect. And someone made this adorable Admit 1 ticket, which there used to be 3. But then the children held the things, and now I have 1 crumply ticket left. I actually did take all of the kids' freebies as well, and I was like, no, I will hold on to those and redisperse them. One of them did definitely try to eat that bar of soap, because they figured it was going to be candy. It's just, have kids, they say. It'll be fun, they say. So we get inside. The rain has started. So the very first thing that happens for us is we make it through the gate. We get our ticket scanned. We are all set to go. And they evacuate the field before we even go for our seats. So kiddos' first concert, we're going to learn all of the things. So now we're hanging out inside. There is space, but it's tight. Now, of course, this was due to rain, so there's nothing anybody can do about it. So you get to see my natural, let's call that purple natural, but frizzy hair. We're all wearing ponchos. The heat wasn't that bad because they either had really strong fans or air conditioners running there, so we were getting a cool cross breeze, which was really good. The kids didn't understand what was happening, but I had warned them that the concert could potentially be canceled. We could get all the way to New York and be told, nope, sorry, turn around, head home. So we had that preparation piece managed, thankfully. And so while they were waiting, it was just the little things. Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm tired. Mommy, I'm bored. I'm like, yeah, I know. We're all bored. Like, there are a couple of stays sitting up against the wall that you can't see in this image that were just kind of helping me to keep them somewhat entertained, talking about Stray Kids. We started doing a little sing-along, which we were up high, so I don't think we had anybody who had been evacuated from the field, but not all of the stay appreciated my child's sing-along, but that's okay. Everyone was kind and nice, and that was all we needed. From there, we then headed up to our seats finally, and our seats are the nosebleed of the nosebleed. We were in like the furthest back, almost in the furthest row. Well, no, we were probably about halfway up in the 500s, but we were like the last row still under the awning. So while it was technically sprinkling, I headed up with them. I was comfortable with the height and with the peak of the seats, which I'm usually not. My 7-year-old, Foxany, oh hell no, she was having none of it. She wouldn't move, she wouldn't stand up, she wasn't dancing, she wasn't boogieing, not a damn thing. On the other hand, my little puppy M was perfectly content and having a blast and wanted to make sure that the stadium was in the background for him as well. There she is, just tucked into her plastic wraps, not moving, not grooving, not doing a thing, just smiling, vibing out. And that, I did not take a picture of it earlier, but that is 2 speakers directly above our heads. When I say that the sound quality was immaculate for us, there was no way I could have planned to be sitting directly under the speaker, but it was a lifesaver. I could hear everything that they were saying. I could make out the times that the interpreter was used. I could hear the music. It was awesome. So when I zoomed in, I was able to get some really good quality images, thankfully, because the net wasn't in the way. So there was a benefit to being higher up. You can see in some of these pictures that the stage is practically flooded. They kept sending people out to clean it off before we all went out. But there's really only so much that you can do. And the guys looked brilliant. They were slip sliding all over that stage. Didn't look like anyone got hurt. In fact, it looked like they were enjoying themselves, zipping around and sliding in the water and using it to splash off the stage. Thankfully, and I feel like this is a reward for the rain delays, we got the original red jacket back by chance. He did not unbutton it. In fact, he threatened to unbutton it at one point and didn't and told us no, which I think was just rude. But I was able to get better quality pictures of everyone dancing and having a wonderful time and sounding absolutely amazing. I was also able to get some really bad pictures just because, you know, I'm taking them from Mars. But again, it was fun. The kids were having a blast. My kids were having a blast with these kids. They were singing along. My son was dancing along in his seat. My daughter was bopping and vibing, and thankfully people around us, I don't know if it was because of weather, transportation, or what, had left early, the one sitting directly next to her. So we had a few spare seats around us, which I feel like gave her a bit more room to relax and feel comfortable and just enjoy herself. So the red jackets did start coming off again for quality photos from the moon. But we did get to see the black tank tops and the wonderfulness that was everyone. I don't have an excuse for that picture. But it was an amazing show and it sounded great. And the band, oh my gosh, I've been seeing clips of the band play online, but hearing them play live and doing their little set through, whatever, the thing where they play where everybody goes away, sounded wonderful. It didn't rain again for the remainder of the show. The guys would come back out after each break sounding absolutely phenomenal. My kiddos would get to scream along with them. We would get to sing along to a lot of the songs and just have an amazing time. And I was really worried. I was worried about my kids coming because I was worried that it's a 3.5-hour concert with multiple hours of travel both ways. I didn't know if they would enjoy themselves. I didn't know if they would appreciate it. Clearly, Foxany is appreciating the hell out of it. Why she had to stick her tongue out? I don't know. Ask her. She's 7. That's what she does. But we did have fake tattoos on our cheeks and on our arms, and they saw giants, and they saw the inflatable, and they definitely thought it was a real person because they're children. And then my son told my daughter that he was going to climb up and beat us up. We did have ear protection. I know she's not wearing it in her photo, but they both did have ear protection. But apparently, in our family, ear protection means squat. She didn't care. She ripped that shit off right away. Just was vibing out. He kept his ear protection on, which was also helpful when it came time for the fireworks to go off. But going to the concert by myself was one thing. Going again with my children and getting to see them have an amazing time, that was great. This is parking. So before I tell the parking story, let me back up. Let me switch to another picture that doesn't have someone's face in it. So there was one other thing that happened. So during cinema, the first night that I was there, the names go up. Obviously, I didn't catch any of it. I just sobbed my eyes out. The second night, they're singing Cinema. I am sobbing yet again. But now my kids are like, Mommy, what's the matter? And I'm like, it's just beautiful. Just vibe out. Enjoy it. Names go across the screen. They get to the end where Sungmin is doing his little ment talking about the song that he did. And again, he named a song. Now, the first night, I think the name was Sophia. And everybody kind of laughed because I said, is there any Sophia here? And you could hear like 100 people screaming, right? Girl's name, more common girl's name. On the second night, interestingly enough, he said a man's name. And Sungmin assumed that the man's name was therefore a father. And there were a few that shouted that name. However, it's also my son's name. So my son lost his mind. Although I did learn that my son's version of losing his mind when he hears his bias, because he is definitely a Puppy M bias, not a Sungmin bias. He's 10. He doesn't care. He likes Puppy M. Say his name out loud. Deer in headlights. Couldn't move, couldn't blink, didn't do a single thing, but he has been talking about it now for days. He has not shut up about the fact that Sungmin knows who he is, and it thanked him for coming to his show. So from there, we walk out to the parking lot. I get the kids in the car, and I tell the kids, all right, relax, get comfy. We're not leaving for a while. Because the parking lot is packed, as you saw. It was not moving anytime soon. So I took some pictures of the clouds in the sky. Oh, the fireworks. The fireworks were amazing. The children loved the fireworks. And then we got on the road, and they passed the F out instantly. They stayed in that exact position until we got home. Her neck is fine. You wouldn't know it from the way she slept, but she's 7. They do that.
And we drove home. The highway was a mess because apparently they decided to turn it into a cheese grater, but otherwise got home, stomped the troops up to their beds, and everyone was able to go to sleep and have a wonderful time. So overall, this was an amazing journey. It was a huge gift to be able to go to the Stray Kids concert and to see what was happening and getting to experience it. And I'm definitely going to be going again, definitely taking my kids again whenever the next tour is. But thank you very much, Secret Keepers, for hanging out and listening to my very long-winded rambles. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I swear, Stray Kids just completely scramble my brain in the best way possible. But it has been a pleasure. I do this a lot. Like creating content. I should know how to speak. I only speak one language. I should be able to speak it better. But I can't. So thanks for hanging out, and feel free to do all of the fun YouTubey things, liking, commenting, subscribing, following us on Twitch, on TikTok, we have a Discord. There's going to be links everywhere. But it was a blast, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.